it's mindset cafe, we all about that mindset. Gotta stay focused, never settle for less. It's all in your head, how you think you manifest. So get ready to rise, cause we about to be the best. Gotta switch it up, gotta break the old habits. Get your mind right, turn your dreams into habits. No negative vibes, only positive thoughts. Yeah, it's mindset cafe.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Mindset Cafe podcast. Your favorite duo is back. You know, you got your boy Devin, you got your boy Nick over here.
So,
today we wanted to talk about, obviously we have our episode topic, not focusing on the number of reps, but focusing on the quality of reps, right? Quality over quantity. And while that is the topic, you guys know that with every live episode, your guys' input into the questions, into the, what's it called?
comments.
Yeah, like the feed, right? If you guys have other questions relating to anything else with mindset, with nutrition, with that, anything else, feel free to ask it. It doesn't have to always stay on topic. It doesn't have, you don't have to wait for us to ask a question. If you guys want us to cover other stuff throughout our episode as well, feel free. Let's do it. But with that being said, ready for it all? I hope you guys enjoyed the episode with Nick last week, the solo episode. We try not to do that as much as possible, but sometimes just schedules permit that way, and he handled it and held down the fort for us. So how was it? How are people in the comments last week?
They were good. They were actually engaging, and it didn't leave me high and dry.
I was telling Nick beforehand that it's weird when you do solo episodes, because when you do solo episodes, especially a live episode, and you don't have people asking questions, you kind of feel like you're talking to yourself. So I'm glad you guys were in the comments. Make sure you guys aren't shy today. But let's dive in a little bit. Let's dive in. Today's real topic is quantity over quality, or no, opposite, quality over quantity. And the reason why I wanted to bring this episode up today, and I told Nick we should really dive into this, is because I know there's been a few episodes that we've talked about. It's in the reps. It's in the reps. You just have to do reps. Just keep trying. Just keep trying. And while that is true, and while that is the level 1 version of it, the level 2 version, or the more in-depth explanation of it, is yes, it's in the reps, right? You have to do it repetitively in order to get better. But at the same time, don't just do a rep, meaning like just don't do an attempt at something, or try to hit a goal just to do it, just to say you got it done. Like some people show up to a gym, they check in, they take a picture, and then they half-ass their workout, right? Some people, this is what I told one of the members when actually we weren't even in a gym yet, when we were at the park. She gave me that, well, at least I'm here. And I was like, or she said, at least I'm here, isn't that enough? And I was like, you can go to the library and not read, right? And so it doesn't matter, you just showed up, or you just did it, but you have to make sure you're giving all your effort. Otherwise, why are you doing it? If you don't give your full effort, you're not going to have anything to take away from it, to reevaluate, to make your next attempt. If you weren't as successful as you wanted to be, you're not going to have any lessons or any data to really make that next attempt better than this attempt. Otherwise, you're just doing the same thing over and over again. And that's pretty much the definition of insanity, right? You're doing the same thing over and over again, and just hoping and praying that there's going to be a different result, right? It's like you're buying a lottery ticket and just hoping your numbers get drawn. It doesn't fucking work that way when you're trying to achieve a goal, right? You have to, if it wasn't successful the first time, there's a reason why it wasn't successful. You shouldn't just try it again necessarily. You should reevaluate what didn't work, what worked, and then reapply.
Yeah, and then like what you said,
just like Nick's lotion, he puts it on and then he looks at it and he's like, damn, I missed some spots, I didn't reapply.
Okay, you know what? Because
I only said that because I saw the lotion behind the desk.
Yeah, bro, because my hands get dry here, and like from clapping all the time. Like so but I clap so loud, like
got it.
That I gotta keep the lotion on deck. But
full Diddy mode.
Too soon. But kind of like exactly what you just said, as far as like making the reps count and taking the data that you, or actually the fact that it's like you can't repeatedly do something just to do it and respect. Wow.
RESPECT.
Expect a different outcome. It's like in the gym or any kind of fitness related aspect. You can't expect to just show up and do a workout half-assing it, or just show up just to say you worked out, right?
Right.
And then expect to see actual progress, or expect to actually attain or achieve your goals, whether it be, oh, lose body fat or gain muscle. And then after some time goes by and you're like, okay, well, I'm working out, but nothing seems to be happening. Well, you got to ask yourself, like you said, you got to collect the data. Have you actually been maximizing every single rep or every single workout that you put in? Because if you were half-assing it, or you were just showing up just to show up, then you're definitely still not going to see any results, right? And I think that's a big misconception that everybody has, that both in working out and applying, like, the nutrition aspect of it and the habits that they do inside and outside the gym. Because you can't just do the motion or the action just going through it. You gotta do it with full intent, with full 150% effort to actually gain the experience and reap, the steps, the progress forward.
Mm-hmm. No, I definitely agree. I mean, think about it, like if you go to school, and I mean, everyone's, goes, kindergarten to 12th grade or whatever.
Not everybody, but
okay. Majority of people go at least, some grades. And while everyone in that same classroom has the ability to learn whatever's being taught that day, does everyone learn that thing? No. And why? It's because some people are paying attention. Some people are actively trying to learn and to, better themselves and learn that lesson. And other kids are just sitting there and just want to get the day over with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just waiting for the year to end and go to the next grade and get out of school, right? And if you're just waiting to get out of the workout, or you're just waiting to get out of the process, you have to realize that the process is, as tedious as it is, that's your vehicle to achieve any goal in life. So if you're just waiting for it and trying to rush it to get it over with, you realize that you're not maximizing. It's going to take you a lot longer to get to your end goal. So you're going to have to sit through a lot more of those classes or a lot more of those workouts to get to the same goal as if you were to just put more effort in the first place. You would actually condense your timeline of, success or achieving your goal.
Yeah. And what's crazy, as you said that, I just thought about it in my head, because
how else would you think about it?
I don't know. In my other head. Pause. That's
okay.
Oh boy, here we go. But applying it to work, because I'm trying to think of it in a way that, our listeners and like everybody could possibly, kind of take what we're saying and kind of relay it or apply it to themselves in ways that they may not think about. And the best way that I can probably help is take work, right? Whatever you do for a living, and I'm not saying that, oh, everybody does this or whatever, like you just clock in and clock out. And actually this ties in with us here at the gym, because that's one of the questions that I ask our new, and like any new trainers that we bring on board. And I know Matt has also asked that. I've heard him ask it, like, we don't want people to just come in to clock in and clock out. Right. With that being said, what we mean is, like, when you're here and you're at work, it's the actions that you're taking while you're at work should be with full intention that not only are you fully, mentally present and giving everything that you do within that time of work, your full best effort, but also trying to maximize progressing yourself in everything that you do. And that translates, and kind of to give an example, when I was working at Kaiser, that seemed like such a mechanical type of task at work. It's because, I would like help the patients, like, book appointments, like, give them like medical equipment and stuff like that. And it seems like I'm doing the same thing every single day, right? And so it seemed like, okay, I'm just gonna lock in, go about my day, kind of like in the movies, when it's like they just fast forward and the person's just so depressed, like the time is going by, right? But the way I took it is like, okay, every patient that I helped and every person that I helped, like, how can I make this not only the best experience for them, but also excel myself in the position that I'm in to be able to provide more value, so that when my next evaluation came up, I can talk to the department administrator and say, hey, can I move up in position? you know, I've done this, I've excelled in this, and I've provided way more progress, you know, in these areas so that I can help myself level up, right? So within each shift, within each work shift, fully maximizing those reps and having full intent in all the actions that I take actually should have a bigger goal at the end of it. You know, does that make sense what I'm trying to say? Like, so to help everybody just kind of relate it to everything that you may even do on a daily basis, because I know most people that probably go to work, as sad as it sounds, like you probably hate sometimes like the time that goes by, but why think of it that way? I think it's your perspective. Like, how can I make this a productive and progressive shift for myself? You know, like
Right.
if you do personal training, or even like, and I'm calling out Patty because Patty's in the watching. Don't just sit there, Patty. Say something. But you know, she does the massage therapy, and shameless plug to you. Like, you know, giving the full best customer service in that session for that person. You don't know what ultimately that leads to. That can, you know, oh my God, that she just gave me one of the best sessions ever. I'm gonna refer more people, right? So.
Correct. No, it's true. I just posted up the first question for you guys as well. I'll leave it up there for a little bit. What's one area of life, whether it's going to be your fitness, your work, so you know, your profession, your job, or relationships, where you feel like you've been focusing on quantity over quality, right? So make sure you guys share your story, put it in the comments. Don't be shy, right? We're all doing it, right? You're not alone. But one thing I want to touch on that was like, there's such an importance to intentional focus, right? And being intentional when you're putting in the reps, when you're doing the task, right? And when you're involved in the process. Because if you're not intentional and if you're not really engaged with it, then you're not going to take anything away from it, and you're not going to really learn, again, like I was saying in the beginning, what to do next time. What did work, what didn't work. And so if you don't have intentional focus, like, you know, let's say if you're at Kaiser, or even with my personal training, what I did before, it's like, if you're not intentionally focused on how your day is going, how, you know, you're improving, if you're moving towards the next step, the next position, right? For me, it was, even when we first started here, like how to sell, right? You know, I didn't get a ton of formal training on sales. So it was like in the beginning of personal training, like I had to sell my own stuff, and I had to learn how to sell and then learn how to do those things.
You have to sell yourself.
I did, you know, and I was a hot ticket item.
You're a hot commodity, bro.
But with that, it was one of those things where every time I went in, especially in the beginning, every time I went into a new, you know, basically like a first day workout with someone, and basically was, you know, talking to them afterwards and selling the personal training programs and stuff, I had to really be intentional of how, like, taking notes on after the fact, what happened. Did they buy? What were their emotions when I was talking about some of the things that I was, you know, looking up and researching and practicing, you know, by myself, and then applying that and taking what worked and keeping that and finding new stuff to plug for the stuff that didn't work, and kept doing it over and over and over again. And then that whole process, it wasn't easy. And believe me, there was a lot of days where nothing worked, right? And that's okay. It wasn't a failure of a day, because I learned what doesn't work for me. It works for other people, I'm assuming, but it didn't work for me, right? So that being intentional then allowed me to, one, grow the business to 6 figures and, you know, have a successful personal training career, but then now take those same lessons and then apply it into the gym and now into the franchise and all those other things. But if I was never intentional in the beginning, I would never, like, where we're at now would have never happened, right? So it's one of those things where you never know where a path can take you or how far it can take you. But if you're just waiting for that step to be over, and you're not really trying to maximize each step, then again, you're going to have to take every single little baby step, because you're resisting yourself. But if you actually give your full attention and full effort and full focus on something, you can skip certain steps, right? Because all of a sudden you'll learn something, and you'll be like, okay, well, I don't need to tweak it. This is my thing. Now I don't need to tweak it 5 more times. I just skip those 5 next days of tweaks. Right.
You learn, like, well, you gain the the lesson pretty much when you do it with full intent. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Patty, there you go, Patty, in the comment. When you love what you do, you try your best to give your clients the best of you, which is 100% true. I do want to touch on that because it is a little bit of a tangent, but I do want to cover it. The fact of loving what you do, right? Because some people might think right now, like, okay, well, what if I don't love what I do? I guess it goes with the career aspect of it. I heard it somewhere that it's like, people say that cliche, like, oh, you have to, what is it? Like, you have to find your passion in something in your career, something like that. Like, you have to be passionate at what you do.
You should. The thing is, find your passion and make your career out of it. And if you love what you do, then you'll never work a day in your life.
Right.
Which is stupid.
Right. But the thing is, what most people realize is like, I don't think there's anything that you love or you're passionate about immediately, because you're not good at everything immediately. Right.
Yeah.
It's like you're passionate about whatever you're passionate about or whatever you love. You develop that love and passion because you're good at that, but you got good at it by repeatedly doing it.
Right.
Right. So something that you want to excel in or you want to progress in, it's not like it's going to be perfect right off the bat. Right. So it's something that, like, if it is an actual goal or it is something you're trying to attain or get better at, it's like you do have to constantly put in, you have to constantly put that effort in. But that's what we're trying to get to. The efforts that you put in, you have to maximize that and do it with full intent. And even when it seems like you're not taking a step forward, there is a win in that, because you're learning a lesson that you can apply to the next step. And that's how growth happens. And once enough growth happens, that's when the passion and the love starts to develop from that.
Right. And I mean, the reason I was saying it was stupid is it's not like the concept isn't stupid. It's how the concept is worded, right? Because for me, it's like if you love something and that becomes your passion, it becomes your passion becomes your job. And then the saying is, you'll never work a day in your life. But that's, in my opinion, that's not true. It's your passion. You made it your job. You are still working, right? But you love your work now, right? Like, you love what you do. So it doesn't feel, I think what they meant to intend with it is like, it doesn't feel like you're just checking into, a job that you don't want to be at and you're just watching the clock to leave. But at the same time, like, if it's your passion, like, you want to work, you're going to put in hours outside of the normal, working hours or operational hours of your business or of your job, because you enjoy excelling and learning more about whatever it is or getting better at whatever you're doing. Right. So I think that's definitely why the reason I was saying it's stupid is like, because it's always going to feel like work, right? The definition of work is doing something. Right. If you're physically doing something, you're mentally doing something, like you're working, right? Your brain is working, you're physically, or your body's working, but you enjoy that process. Right. So like for us, we both, love fitness, but at the same time, like, the gym, launching a brand, like all that is work, right? It's mentally draining, physically draining, but at the same time, we enjoy it because we enjoy, one, the industry, but two, the results that we give people. So the work is worth it for us. Like, it fills our cup. I know for like Nick personally, like, everyone at the gym knows he loves dancing. That's his true passion. But
I did not see that. I didn't know that was where you were going with it.
I'm sorry I had to put you out with this, bro. But we all know that his second passion, just as much as fitness, is dancing. And if he could, he'd be on the main stage. But he just chose this. But it's sometimes you have multiple passions.
But sometimes you're just naturally gifted with the moves. Like,
hey man, I'm not hating on it, bro. Like, I know it's a desire and it's okay.
But I remember, just a funny story. Like, I remember when you and I were still, it was just me, you in the gym. Every time that song "Teach Me How to Dougie" would come on the speaker, as soon as that song came on, Devin would stop. I already know on the side of my eye, he would look at me, wait for me to bust one of these. Right?
Because even if you were demonstrating something, like, it was almost like that twitch, like when you're standing there and your muscle just spasms, right? And you can just feel your muscle twitching.
It's involuntary, bro. So like my body just does a move, and I would
just have to wait. I was like, it's gonna happen, and then you would just be like talking to someone, and then you all of a sudden hit. I'm like, there. See, it just happens, But that's what I meant about it doesn't feel like work. because you love it, but it still is work. You just enjoy it a lot more,
Mhm.
right? I think Patty had mentioned something in there.
Mhm.
Guys, make sure you guys are engaging with the comment. What is something that you guys have focused on with, you know, quality over quantity in your lives, right?
Don't be scared. Drop it in the comment.
And then, oh, Patty said it makes the day go by fast. And yes, it is work, but if you enjoy it, it makes the time worth it, 100%, right? And then she put a little dancing emoji, which, you know, from this distance looks like it could be you. But what would you say? I mean, before, for you personally, how did you know fitness? Because I mean, Kaiser Health, you know, and you were still in the physical therapy aspect of it, right? So like both of our journeys have been very similar in not like direct paths, but like both of us have been like tailored to the fitness industry in some form or fashion. What was that moment that you recognized like this was your passion? Or how did you get into like going to Kaiser, right? Like, why did you want to do that? I know like you had an in and everything like that, but like, what was your desire for it?
To go into physical therapy?
No, like just in the health and fitness and every industry. Like, what is why is this your passion? When was that like aha moment that this was your passion as well as like this is something you're good at?
That's a great question.
And I sort of have you asked me the question right back right now.
No, I'm not.
That is a
no. I wasn't.
No, this is a Nick 1.0. Like we're at like, you know, this is like back when we first opened. This shit used to drive me nuts. You just be like, I'd be like, hey man, like, so I'm thinking about doing this. Like, what are your thoughts? And you're like, and you would sit there and like you were thinking of an answer, and you'd be like, you know, I think that we should do this. And you literally just rephrase what I just said and just threw the question back at me. And I would, at first, like it got me, like, I didn't think about it, and I would answer it. And I was like, wait, that was my question. And then I was like, wait, this fucker's not answering any questions here.
Knowing what I know now, and looking back at it, they used to do that. You know how we teach them like about sales. It's like, how do you get the answer from somebody? It's like you ask them the question. I was like, damn, that's crazy. I had intuitively had that skill to ask the person what they want, what they thought. So it's like I get the answer and then I just tell it to them.
Yeah.
But no, I honestly this time I was actually just thinking about internally like what the answer was. And I know it sounds like cliche, like the surface level answer would be like, oh, because I want to help people. But tying in like, you know, the Kaiser aspect of it, and like how I transitioned into like the physical or the training, whatever, the fitness into it. It's because honestly, like I was into sports as a kid. Like, you know, I played football throughout high school. I would have been an NFL if I didn't tear my ACL. But
I don't know about all that. But
I'm just kidding. But what is it called? I didn't actually get into like training itself until I started like working out. But that wasn't always easy for me. And that's where that thing was. But at a certain point, I wanted to be the best version of myself on the physical aspect. And I don't know, like that part internally, just I think as a person, you kind of, I guess, develop that, or you kind of have to have that characteristic of if you want something, you know that you have to put the work in, right? Right now I'm starting at the base level. So with me having that realization, like, okay, I want to attain the best physical shape that I can be. And then it wasn't easy, but I put in the intent and the work and the effort every single day. And then I progressed on a physical level. And I saw what that did for me internally, and that I saw the growth and the maturity that I developed to push through the hard times, to push through plateaus, to push through days that I don't want to do it. And when I looked back, and I saw how that translated, not just physically, but more internally as well, I think that's where it clicked for me. Like, damn, like if I can do this, anybody could do this. And I want to help people. I want to help people as best as I can to realize that they can do it too, that they can that their best version of themselves is waiting for them tomorrow, you know, because they like people out there may be in the same mental state that I was in when I first started. So and just like the way I felt, I wanted to help people feel the same way. And I think that translation was what brought me into like, you know, the fitness aspect of it from Kaiser into like training.
Okay.
Too. So
yeah, no, I mean for me it was like I was in sports, you know, I told you.
You were the Karate Kid, bro.
Yeah, I did
just a PSA, don't mess with Devin. He has a black, a red, every kind of color belt. He'll fuck you up.
No, but like I mean, I did MMA, I did all those things, but I did like my parents, since I was the first kid, like they put me in every single sport, right? And a lot of them I didn't like, but I still had to do it because, you know, I was their test dummy essentially. My other brothers got to just do the ones they liked, which kind of sucked. I did tennis, I did fencing. I fucking won a little fencing trophy, and I was like, after I at least had to do one season, and then I could tell my parents if I didn't want to do it again. And I remember like, do you want to? I was like, absolutely not. Like, you're good. I was like, I don't care. This is stupid, you know. And it's like,
I can't imagine you as a fencer.
Neither could I. That's why I didn't do it again. You know, it was not a passion. It was not fun to me. But that for me, it was like going into martial arts and doing those things. Like my first job was actually at the age of 13, like working under the table, not because like I had to, like my family was, you know, fine financially, but I got offered like a, you know, part-time like basically instructor position. And so you gotta think 13, I was in 8th grade. I was in middle school, right? And I already had a job. So like I was already getting paid under the table, and it was cool because I had my own money to use. So immediately for me, the getting paid and having your money as a kid was cool because I could buy my own stuff, you know, but it was that fact of teaching other kids essentially, and I was even teaching some adults like how to do certain exercises and stuff, that naturally the fitness aspect, but also like the coaching, the teaching, it really like I liked seeing other people see success within themselves and then bettering themselves and see the pride that they were able to build within themselves. So my vehicle was fitness because I liked working out. I liked being physically fit. I like playing sports, but I'm also very competitive. So like I mean, our members know too, I'm not the bubbly trainer, right? And I'm very straightforward, and it works for me. But at the same time, like I demand like that the people, our members, even my clients back in the day, like they push themselves. They do, like, you're here for a reason, right? Like, and I don't want you to waste your time because your time is precious, right? I don't care that, you know, you're here and only giving me a little bit of time. I think we got a technical difficulty real quick.
Biggest are here, story.
Yeah.
Time.
All right, we'll go this way. Switching cameras on y'all.
Audible.
But I think for us, for me, it was, you know, seeing people like really win like having personal wins, right? Like winning in sports and stuff was cool, but seeing someone, you know, learn a new move or get better at fighting and all that kind of stuff was really my driving factor. And then going into college, you know, I got a job as a personal trainer. At first, I was a personal training sales person, and the selling aspect was not fun because then I couldn't really do any workouts with people. And then I switched over to the personal training side, and then I was like, this is such an awesome college job. Like I get to just work out and tell people how to work out and, you know, go to school. And then I learned in college that there was a whole like section, kinesiology was a whole thing. I didn't know that was, you know, a thing you could do in college. Switched my major from business to kinesiology, and I was like, damn, you could just keep learning more. And then it just evolved more and more and more, which, you know, has escalated where we're at, you know, now. So it's weird. You don't know, like, again, when I started personal training, I told my family, I told even myself that this was a college job. I expected to have a career after it. It wasn't even like I expected to launch a business or do anything like that. This was a college job. It had flexible hours. This was perfect for me. But that ended up being something that, again, I grew a passion, like you were saying. I grew the passion for it more than just a college job. I didn't want to let it go, and I knew I was good at it, so that I wanted just to continue to get better. And that's when, you know, you start teaching yourself. You start, you know, buying, courses or books or whatever, and you start learning outside the realm of just what you're basically taught.
Yeah. First thing, when you were telling your story,
Mhm.
one of the things I picked up was that's where your entrepreneurial journey started, bro. When you were 13, the fact that you were getting paid under the table and that feeling that probably generated for you at such a young age of like, getting your own money and being able to, what is it called, buy whatever you want. I mean, I think that as a young person, like that sparked, and look at you now.
No, I think my entrepreneurial journey actually started. I remember it started in 9th grade because I started a t-shirt company in 9th grade. So I was 14. So not that much further.
1 year later.
So I was still working at the martial arts studio. I mean, I worked there all the way through high school. But there was a couple other brands in Santa Clarita that I was a quote unquote bro, like dirt bikes and all that kind of stuff. But there was a few local brands that were blowing up, and you saw other kids wearing them through school. And I was like, damn, that's so cool. Like, imagine if you just see kids around the school wearing your stuff. So then I was like, I wonder how hard it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so then my whole thing, my mentality has always been, and I don't really know where I got it from, but it was just like, if someone else can do it, I can do it. Like, and if I want to do it, like, and someone else has done it, I know I can do it too. If someone's already proven it's possible, right? So I remember I had 2 different t-shirt companies. First one was called Nitrous Apparel, right?
It was Nitrous?
Yeah. Like race, like street racing cars and stuff, because it was just, being 14 years old, and I think Fast and the Furious had came out around that time, right? And then that one switched fairly quick to that one, though kids were wearing it around school like decent amount. Like I sold a few, like I would say probably like 200, 300 shirts of that.
Damn.
Yeah. And then so like that one, it was like cool to see, because you'd be at like the high school football games, and all of a sudden you just see a Nitrous Apparel shirt walking across. I was like, damn, look, that's my shit. But then the second one was called Short Fused, and that was like a fight gear one.
I thought it's because you were short fused.
That's where it did come from. Though, like a short temper, like stuff like that. So it was like the whole fighting aspect, and trying to have like the MMA brand and tie those in. But that one started launching, and as it was launching, like I was already losing the drive for the t-shirt like industry. I was like, this isn't really my passion. I was like, it's cool to see my stuff, but like I didn't like designing shirts. I mean, obviously I like doing it for us here, but it's not our main thing. We don't design shirts all the time. If I had to design clothes all the time, that shit would drive me crazy. Mm-hmm. So that one kind of fell to the wayside, and then personal training kind of kicked in from there.
Yeah, but I'm sure, like, even those steps that you were taking along, though, even making the first couple shirt lines and stuff, you did that with full intent. You put every effort that you put in, every rep that were essentially gave you the lessons and the tools that you were able to carry on into the next level,
right?
Which is essentially what we're trying to kind of express to you guys, of why it's important for everybody to pretty much make every single rep count and everything that you do on every aspect of life, because you don't know
what you don't know.
Yeah, if you don't know, now you know. But you don't know.
I'm glad you finished that line right there. I was like, oh boy.
No, but like that, how every rep or every lesson that you learn from the reps that you take is crucial, as long as you make them count. It's not just going through the motions.
Yeah, definitely. So next question, and the next part we're going to talk about. So I want to ask you guys this as well. What challenges do you guys face when you guys are trying to focus on quality over quantity in your daily lives, right? With your goals and your journey. And the reason why I asked it is because when we mentioned, having an intentional focus and, having full intent on something, it's going into how we were talking about, you have to extract the lessons and stuff, but it's realizing that the devil's in the details, right? It's the quality comes from the precision of the smaller working parts within the actual task. It's not just coming in doing a workout, right? How was your form? How was your endurance? How much weight did you lift? How was it? All those little things, right? Did you push it? Did you get an extra rep this time versus last time, right? All those little things start to add in, right? How's your nutrition playing in? All those little random things, right? For, let's say, business, how are your sales calls going? How are you handling your team? How is your team doing? How, you know, all the little aspects, instead of just being like, oh yeah, we're growing, right? So it's like, you have to realize that the small aspects, how you're talking to your team, are you improving how your leadership skills are working, right? Like, all those little things really come into play. And that's one of the challenges that I know both of us faced in the beginning too, is like, we focus on such the big picture vision, and while it works to a degree, it didn't allow us to really grow towards that big picture, because we were focusing on just the 10,000 foot view and not the, you know, street view.
Right. Yeah. We were.
You know why they build sidewalks?
What? So you don't get run over?
No. You know why they build sidewalks?
Why?
Because the streets aren't built for everyone.
Sorry, guys. It's been a long day. But no, yeah, I agree. Like, and I think that's because that comes with the lessons, you know, that us kind of focusing too much, like, on too far ahead, and kind of just having to, at some point, having to realize, like, we can't get to that bigger view without concentrating and building the little steps, the fundamentals, and, you know, brick by brick, what it's going to take to get to the house, to build a house.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Unless you're building a brick path, you know, fucking. I was about to say Dorothy, but who's the one in Wizard of Oz? Is Dorothy?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've never seen that movie either, but I just know it's a Dorothy character.
I was saying the Yellow Brick Road. But
sorry, but just kind of, I wanted to touch on this because, like, that's what we were on. An example for you guys that are listening and that may hear this later on. It's like when you relating to fitness, because I'm sure that you guys would find this very useful. When you guys come in and if you guys have been to our gym, like, you do the InBody, right? Or actually, when you're doing a check-in for a challenge, an elite challenge, and then, you know, we look at your numbers, or I ask, or any of us ask you, like, you know, how's your nutrition coming along? How's your are you following the meal plan? How well are you doing in your diet? And you say good. When you, or, you know, you do the little smile, or the guilty smile. Even most of the time, you guys say good. But the thing is, like, when I ask that, the next thing I'm gonna tell you is, I don't want a baseline answer of good, bad, great, perfect. I want, like, the details. I want you to quantify for me, like, give me like 5 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, and tell me why it's 6 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Like, tell me what you, in detail, like, what you missed, what you did well on, where you're slacking off, because all those steps and the effort that you put in the things that you did well and that you didn't do well is what matters of you accomplishing the task, of how well you did the task.
Do you ask them on a scale 1 to 10?
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
Yeah, no, yeah. And if you guys are on a challenge, like, you guys know that for sure. Like, I ask you, like, tell me specifically, like, what good means. You know what I mean? Because, like, you can, like, follow the meal plan, like, half of it out of the whole complete thing, and to you that may be good. You know what I mean? That's why I asked them. You know, and hopefully they understand that I'm not just asking that just to be a douche, or, you know what I mean? It's me holding you accountable and trying to get you to realize that that's the importance, the lesson that I'm trying to get you to understand, so that even when you're not on the challenge and you're doing it on your own, and you understand that the details that come with it is what matters for you to accomplish the goal, and that it relates to everything else that you're going to do, whether it's in the gym or outside the gym.
Right. I mean, sometimes it's like, to focus on the little small details, like, you have to slow down, right? When you're trying to focus on an exercise and to really gain size, it's not about how many reps you do. It's not about how many reps you do, right? It's each individual rep. How is it affecting the muscle? How are you actually attacking the muscle fibers, right? If you're just doing reps to do reps, like, what does your quality of the rep look like? Is that really going to, are you just isolating that muscle, or are you using multiple muscles to basically help get that movement done because your form sucks, right? But, like, think about your biggest accomplishment, right? The next question is, what was your biggest accomplishment, and what was the result of the quality? You know, was it focused on work, or were you just putting in hours and just waiting for it to happen? Because majority of the time, if you think about, you know, the time you won a tournament, or you know, won a trophy, or you know, unless it was a participation trophy. But you know, but if you, anytime that you hit a goal, like think about why did you hit that goal? It's because you were actually intentionally focused on that. Why haven't you hit the goal you're currently working on, right, as fast as you wanted to? Are you being as intentionally focused or as purposeful in every attempt that you're doing it that you were the last time or with your previous goal, right? Like where is your efforts lie? Because if you're not, then slow it down, right?
Grab the wall.
Hold up, wait a minute. Oh man. I saw it was the reason I laughed at that was I saw this like little joke from, I think it was Andrew Schultz, and he was like, breaking into P. Diddy's house would be terrifying. He's like, imagine you just see, you know, Meek Mill sitting on his lap, and he's like, he's petting him like a Maltese cat. And then all of a sudden you go to run out the door, and he's like, oh, he's like breaking the house, and he's there, and he's like, he's petting Meek Mill, and he's like, you got to run out the house, and all of a sudden the door's locked, and then you're like, oh man, and then all of a sudden you turn around, and then Meek Mill's just like, hold up, wait a minute, I thought that you were finished.
Bro, the stuff on the internet on stuff, that's
funny. Patty said that it's a work in progress, by the way, 8 out of 10.
And that's, it could be that, you know what I mean? Like, even if she's like, that's being truthful. If you're being truthful and honest that it's a work in progress, 8 out of 10, that's fine. As long as you understand and you're, you know, with that understanding, you know, to take the lesson and apply it to your next steps, apply it to your next rep. Because like what we said earlier, if you know it's a work in progress and it's 8 out of 10, but you keep putting in the same effort and you're still 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10, then you're just running into a goddamn wall over and over again. You know what I mean? It's like, blunt as it sounds, and you're not going to achieve the goal that you want. You know what I mean? So how bad do you really want the other side? So making the next rep count is determined by, you know, you taking the lesson and applying it. So, I mean, you know, because like, I know in this case, like just whether or not, because everybody, like when Patty's in the gym, not calling you out, Patty, but you know, everybody says like, oh, you had this bread, you posted this. And she says like, you know, I didn't have the things that I posted, I just posted it. Like whether or not that's true, only you know the quality of the reps that you put in, especially behind closed doors. You know, only when you do your next weigh-in, you're going to know why those numbers are those numbers, whether they're good or bad. So, I mean, just saying.
But drop a fire emoji in the chat if you guys are committed on, you know, starting today or starting tomorrow, making each of your reps count and not just focusing on counting the actual reps, right? Focusing on the actual quality instead of just the quantity. Focusing on your actual effort and the actual process versus just getting it done, right? Drop that fire emoji if you are going to be committed to moving it forward and really focusing, being intentional, right? But with that being said, guys, next week, we'll probably be doing a live on Saturday, possibly Saturday afternoon. Okay.
I'm sorry. You threw me on this. You just threw me on this.
That's a TBD. Thank you, Adrian, for a fire emoji in the chat.
We need to get one of those Jamaican. Is that a Jamaican born?
No, I'm pretty sure it's a DJ button.
Oh.
There we go. We've got some more fire emojis.
The roof is on fire.
So next week we'll let you guys know throughout the week. We might either do it Friday night or Saturday like midday. But with that being said, guys, make sure you guys are really focusing on the journey, right? The person that is willing to enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, will go so much further than the person that's focused on the end goal, right? And it's so true. I mean, because the end goal really should always be moving, right? If you have an end goal to your destination, then you're thinking of a finite goal, right? If your goal is to lose weight for the challenge, that's awesome. But then what, right? You hit that goal, and your goal should essentially only really be a milestone, right, in your journey to becoming the best version of yourself. right? And if you're trying to become the best version of yourself, you can always be better than you are today, right?
Yeah. Rest in peace, Kobe. Because of what you said, there was a saying that he said that there was a quote that he said or whatever, like the I don't want to butcher it, but it's something like the dream is not the destination. It's the journey. It's the journey that's the dream, or something like that. But it's something like that where it's like, don't be so concentrated, or whether it's like you're over enthusiastic or disappointed or discouraged because like you're looking too much into the outcome, right? The end destination. It's like, but when you're the struggles and the efforts, every rep that you're putting in along the way, and the lessons that you're learning along the way to reach the end destination is what truly matters. Because actually, if you think about it, whatever your goals may be or whatever you're trying to attain, if you were to just wake up one day and then already be there, I don't think the meaning or the appreciation, the value of it is there, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because there was no work, there was no sacrifice, there was no the value. You didn't feel the value.
Right.
You know what I mean? You didn't. It's like, think of it like a bucket, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just woke up, the bucket is full. It's like, okay, now it kind of just doesn't have that much.
You get excited. It's like it's a quick fix, a quick high, a quick emotional draw, right? It's a quick like an adrenaline rush, but then it's done, right? But the self-appreciation and the self-gratitude that you had for going through the journey and going through the process, trusting the process, enjoying the process, and knowing that every obstacle, every hurdle that you overcame made you better than you were before, then it just makes it that much more valuable, and you feel more proud of yourself. And that's how, self-confidence and self-discipline, all those things get built, is through realizing that nothing's going to be handed to you in life. So don't expect it.
That's what makes the journey worth it. Because you can look back and say, I did that shit. Yeah. I put the work in.
And then when someone's like, who are you? And you're like, I'm him. Or
no,
I'm her.
Seriously, like, honestly, like, I think, bro, like, when you said that, it just made me think about like the people, like successful people, whether that's successful in any aspect, like they walk around, or the way they talk about like that certain thing, whether, it's monetary or physical, like, if somebody's walking around like, not like what is it called, like cocky or anything. Actually, what most people see on the outside, they think it's cocky,
right?
But actually, it's like confidence, because it's like, like, I'm not saying I walk around like hot shit, but it's like, if I were to like,
but there is a form of cocky though,
right?
It's like confidence, like people will say that you and I are both cocky, but it's not. It's confidence. Cocky is when someone is overly obnoxious about saying that they're the best, right? And without any real proof behind, or even if there is some proof, like they're telling everyone instead of just letting their actions show that they're that person, right? So that's the difference. Like, someone will say you're cocky because you have self-confidence, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything. And if someone's saying you're cocky, like, again, what does it matter?
Right.
Like,
I think that's one of my biggest, like, just sharing something personal. It's one of my biggest, like, I guess, pet peeves, or like something that really gets under my skin. Not that I do anything about it, because it's like, I don't care. I really don't care. But like, it gets under my skin in a way of like,
you do care then.
Okay,
can't whatever. Get under your skin.
But it's just like when people like kind of say, I guess, I don't care what people say, but it's like when they do kind of like say like, oh, like, you're cocky. It's like, oh, you walk around like hot shit. And in the back of my head, I'm just like saying like, bitch, you don't know what I went through, like, to be here. You know what I mean? Or like the sacrifices, or I'm sure anybody in that same position, whatever it may be, like, they feel the same way. But it's okay. That's fine. Because again, that hate is just because they don't have, or they wish they had what you have. Or yeah, something like that. Or at least like they wish they were in the position that you were in. Or I guess that's self-confidence.
Right. I mean, they may not wish, I get where you're going. Like, they may not wish to be you, but there's a dislike, or there's a disheartening feeling within themselves that they're portraying outward towards your self-confidence, right? So there's a lack of self-confidence, or a lack of belief, or self-love, or whatever, for themselves, so they convey that outwards. I think that's what you're kind of going with.
That's what I'm saying.
But no, I get it. No, it's one of those things where you got to realize that, like, at the end of the day, like, you should know through all of your actions, through all of the times that you could have just sat on the couch and ate a Twinkie, right? And you didn't. You got up, you did the task that you needed to do, whether it was putting in some extra hours into your business, whether it was going to do the workout when you didn't want to. Through all those days, that's what builds the confidence within yourself to know that no matter what happens, that you will find a way to do it. You will find the solution. Every problem has a solution. You just got to be willing to search for it, right? So that's where we're kind of going with that. But make sure you guys tune in next week. We'll drop what day we're doing, either Friday or Saturday, probably around like Wednesday or Thursday. We'll let everyone know. If you're not already in the Mindset Cafe community on Instagram or on Facebook, make sure you guys join in on that, where we just drop in other topics and stuff, and you guys can engage in those things. At the end of the day, we're here to do this for you guys. You know, we enjoy engaging with everyone, as well as, you know, trying to help you on your journey, right? At the end of the day, this is our thing. Again, what fills our cup is impacting other people's lives the most that we can, and as many lives as we can. So if we're here, if we're doing this, like, please, you know, tell a friend, let them, you know, let us help them better their lives, right? I'm probably getting time twisting my time. I think we got to wrap this up.
You all right?
But I mean, at the end of the day, like, we do it for you guys, and we enjoy it, right? We're not asking for anything out of it. We want you guys to engage because we really, truly want to help you guys on your journey, whatever it may be. So with that being said, we do appreciate all the support and all the love you guys have given us, you know, thus far. And we have nothing but love for you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Later, guys. Oh, what was that?
I thought we were still using the camera.
So what do you want to do? You want to wave bye real quick?
Later, guys.
No negative vibes, only positive thoughts. 'Cause in the game of life, mindset calls the shots. Got my mind on the prize, I can't be distracted.